Comfort Keepers, Butch, Irwin. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's great to see you. I know it's been a busy last few months. You guys are doing some upgrades to the building. That almost done?
We were. I'm not sure it was opportune time, but throughout the pandemic, things kind of got hairy for a little while. So we decided to brighten the place up a little bit.
Nice.
And ended up being more than a painting job. It was a remodel. So it's kind of exciting now to see a different inside. So
Nice.
happy to have that behind us. So.
Yeah, someone mentioned they thought it was a brand new building that just went up, and that's somewhat extensive the remodel has been.
Well, fortunately, we were able to purchase the building a couple years ago, and it had muddy driveways, so we're able to fix that up a little bit, and we're working on it.
Yeah.
But more importantly, we're doing great business out of there. So
That's awesome. Now talk a little bit about your business. Who do you serve?
we do non-medical in-home care for elderly and disabled mostly. So anyone with those needs that are non-medical, most folks hear about the skilled care that's out there, which includes the RNs, the physical therapists, and occupational therapists. We do the non-medical, so we're in there helping people with bathing, grooming, toileting, ambulation assistance. We can help with transportation, errands, things such as that. So really, anybody that needs help, usually we can help out from a non-medical standpoint.
Our group upstairs, we were talking about situations like this where not everyone has a family, not everyone has close friends or great neighbors, and when you're thinking about trying to do some of these daily activities and things in life, it is important to have some companionship and help.
It's ironic that you say that, because so often we go into the home and it's a result of a son or a daughter calling and saying, I think mom needs some help, that she's not taking her medication, she's not eating like she should, and we'll hook her up with a caregiver, and all of a sudden we find that mom's eating better, she's taking her medications, and truly what we're doing is providing companionship. I think that relationship that's built is something that really enlightens their life and makes them really want to do better for themselves. So companionship is probably one of our more common services, actually.
I know people that have put off joint replacement surgery because they know as part of the rehab they're going to have difficulty just tying their shoes and getting dressed and all those daily things. And are your people, is this something that you guys do? Like we'll go in temporarily for a few weeks?
Of course. That's many times one of the most important things we can do, because safety assurance is obviously one of the things that we as sons and daughters and moms and dads really are concerned about. So with our initial training, we do training with things such as a gait belt, if you've ever heard of that, slide boards for maybe paraplegics, and also there's something that's called a Hoyer lift for possible quadriplegics that aren't able to get up on their own. So we do basic training in the orientation. If we do encounter a client that needs some of those special needs, we'll have one of our client care coordinators go out and work with them in the home, make sure the family understands what we're trying to do, make sure that the client's comfortable with what we're going to help them with, how we're going to assist them. So absolutely. And I've heard that recently when you go in for a hip or a knee surgery, they're more commonly sending you home as compared to facilities. I think it depends on probably how you're functioning, but I think because of, I heard the earlier conversation about diseases, I think that's part of the factor. And plus you're in your own environment where you're more cheerful and more probably willing to work doing some of the rehab.
Yes, hip replacement. Get up, get out. It's amazing.
Yeah, you were angry though. So you could have used some companionship.
Sounds like experience
I've
talking.
had,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
People that want, they want to stay in their home as long as possible.
Of course.
So do you have clients that your service is allowing people to stay in their home longer?
I think that's one of the more common options nowadays. Unfortunately, the pandemic kind of really shed bad light on some of the nursing homes where that, COVID's a great place for that, nursing home's a great place for that to spread. So I think that has helped us. More importantly, though, I think people just want to stay home.
Yeah.
They just don't want to go to a facility. I think there's some folks that would benefit from the facility, though. That socialization, be able to go in group activities and stuff really would benefit them, but it's hard to convince a lot of people. So, we're there to help them in the home.
Yeah. We've got a Hawaiian luau.
We do. I thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Actually, Comfort Keepers corporate office has, I believe, registered the third Wednesday of June as the National Day of Joy in the National Day of Archives, I'm understanding. So I think it's
Okay.
actually a registered event.
Nice.
But what they ask of us franchises is to just celebrate joy, whatever brings you joy. So we actually are going to have a party at our office in Brooklyn. We do some phenomenal chicken over at Pitt, which is really pretty good stuff. But we have some games and activities, and we really encourage our caregivers, if able, to bring their client in. And we just like to hear, what makes you joyful? What do you really enjoy doing? And, it helps us understand how we can better serve the client as well. So it's just one day that we really try to, celebrate just joyful things.
Are you the fire pit chef?
I'm part of it. I'm part of the crew. I wouldn't say I'm chief chef, but I'm part of the crew.
Butch, are you looking for employees? Are you looking for people to keep other people's comfort?
I hesitate saying this, but actually right now we are quite well staffed.
That's
We have
great.
a really good group of caregivers. We actually have caregivers looking for hours. So anybody out there needing help, keep us in mind, give us a shout. We have caregivers in most areas, which is, ironic from the last 3 years. I mean, all small businesses have been
Right.
struggling so much. So we're pretty fortunate right now to have some caregivers and a good group too.
Yeah, I think companionship. When I think of maybe someone who you don't want your parent or grandparent driving anymore. A couple errands, hanging out for a little bit. I do know how important that companionship is, though, and I think probably some of your clients get an awful lot out of that, don't they?
Absolutely. And I just heard the other day that there's more retired folks re-entering the workforce recently. So those are great,
Yeah.
folks to have on board because, they can relate to some of the elderly and share stories and,
Yeah.
for that companionship need, they can really fill in a big hole.
Does insurance or Medicaid or anything, can that be used to pay
That's
for
a
this?
great question, and we could talk about that for hours probably. Traditional Medicare does not pay for non-medical services as of yet, although some of the new Medicare Advantage programs are starting to include that as like an a la carte thing. So if you may have really high prescription costs, you might find an Advantage plan that will help with, lowering some of those costs. Also, some of the newer Advantage plans are starting to incorporate non-medical in-home care. So, you just have to look at your policy if that's something you might be interested in. When you do shop around for an Advantage plan, look for one that might have non-medical in-home care. So that's up and coming. Not a lot of the insurances are doing that yet, but some of the traditional ones like your Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, Aetna's, I think if they don't have them already, they're looking into it. So Medicaid and the Medicare waiver program also reimburse for our kind of services. Unfortunately, we as an industry are kind of battling up in Lansing and on a federal level, trying to get those funds a little more available because, the reimbursement's low. And especially with hard times like we've had the last 3 years, it makes it hard from a business standpoint to do that. But, those folks need help just like everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
So our biggest referral though is VA. We work with the Ann Arbor VA, and we have a lot of veterans that we service.
That's great.
So if you are interested in getting some help and comfort, you can call Butch and his team at Comfort Keepers. And a great way to get acquainted with his team is to come to National Day of Joy at Comfort Keepers on Irwin Avenue. They are celebrating with finger licking pit chicken.
I'm gonna be out to this pit chicken.
I hope you do.
Sounds great.
Public is welcome.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Butch Irwin from Comfort Keepers. Stay with us next. We've got